What's going on, stackers? It's the Silver State Stacker here, and today I'm going over 5 common mistakes every new stacker should avoid. We'll dive deep into some common pitfalls that new stackers and seasoned stackers alike often fall into, so let's do this. Thank you for watching my video. I'm extremely honored. If you want to learn more about stacking precious metals, or maybe you just want to watch more cool videos about gold and silver, this is the perfect place and you are in the right spot. Just make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you learn anything from this video or you just like it, make sure to give it a thumbs up because it really helps with the YouTube algorithm and it helps get this video out to more new stackers that need to know it. One of the most common questions in Google search in reference to silver, that is what's the biggest mistake new silver stackers make? And this really got me thinking back on my journey stacking precious metals over the years and what mistakes I have made along the way. It's really a good question, and that led me to make this series of 5 mistakes new stackers make so they can be aware of it and hopefully avoid them. Stay with me to the end because I think mistake number 5 is probably the biggest mistake that I see not only new stackers make this all the time, but I'm even guilty of falling for this trap from time to time myself. Sometimes I need to take a step back and do a little self-inventory just to make sure that I'm not going off the rails or anything like that. The first common mistake is definitely overpaying for silver or overpaying for premiums. A lot of new stackers get excited and jump in on the first shiny object they see without even considering the premium. That may not even be something that they're aware of. So it is important first and foremost to understand that the premiums is the extra cost you pay above the spot price of silver. And while some premiums are justified, especially for like collectible or numismatic coins, it's still really important to shop around and compare the different prices from the different local shops and online dealers. While we're talking about overpaying for silver, it's very important to familiarize yourself with the various forms of silver because this will definitely affect the cost. For example, you've got coins, bars, and rounds, and they each come with their own unique premiums. Generic rounds and bars are always going to have a lower premium than, say, sovereign silver coins. Now, this moves us right along to the second mistake new silver stackers should avoid, which is ignoring the silver spot prices. Many new silver stackers may not be aware of the volatility of the spot price of silver and that the spot price for silver can for sure fluctuate. So it's really important to keep an eye on it. Even though it's just about impossible to time the spot price or the market, following the trends and being aware of when the spot price is lower or when it dips could be a great opportunity to cost average in and maximize your purchase. When I first started stacking, I remember I didn't pay too much attention to the spot price, and I know I ended up paying a little too much for some of the silver in my stack because I probably bought when the spot price was high and I just simply wasn't aware of it at the time or even knew that I should be aware of the spot price. So that wasn't ideal at all. But to cut myself a little slack though, it's not like the information was so readily available like it is today. I mean, you basically got instant spot price right there on your phone at any time of the day or night. So there really is no excuse now for not knowing the spot prices and overpaying for your silver. Make sure you check those spot prices. The third common mistake new silver stackers should avoid is paying excess fees. These fees add up and are completely avoidable. I do not pay any fees for silver. Some of these fees can include, at the top of the list, shipping fees, credit card fees, ATM fees, taxes, and the list goes on and on and on. As far as the shipping fees go, most online dealers will waive the shipping fees if you order over a specific amount. Most commonly, you will see the threshold set at $199 to avoid paying shipping fees, meaning that if you order over that $199 threshold, then you pay no shipping. The credit card fees are easily avoided by purchasing your silver in cash at your local coin shops. A lot of times the local coin shops will charge a processing fee if you use a debit card or a credit card. I know a lot of seasoned stackers, they are using the credit card reward systems to maximize their purchases, but this is something that should probably be avoided by new stackers just until you learn how to avoid paying all fees together. Then you can strategically add in this strategy as well. So as far as ATMs go, make sure that if you do go to an ATM to withdraw cash, that you go to an ATM machine that's within your banking institution, because every ATM you use out of your banking network, they're going to charge you a fee at that ATM to access those funds, and then your bank is probably going to charge additional fees as well. Everything adds up, and increasing your cost and fees is spending money that could otherwise be spent on your precious silver and adding weight to your stack. And finally, the other fee that you should also be aware of is taxes. Not only your federal taxes when it comes to the silver stack, but also your local tax laws as well. So here in Nevada, for example, there's a tax on all government issue coins that are purchased with a premium that is 50% more than the face value of the coin. So that means if you go to the wrong coin shop here in Las Vegas and purchase like American Silver Eagles, Gold Liberties, Buffaloes, even 90% silver, basically any sovereign coin issued by any government with a mint, date, and a face value, you could end up paying taxes on that purchase. Additionally, you should be aware that you might trigger IRS reporting if you purchase more than $10,000 of gold or silver with cash at one time. The seller has to. They're required to report the purchase to the IRS. I guess the IRS is just trying to make sure that criminals are not trying to launder money into precious metals. Tracking large purchases into silver and gold, I guess, is a good way to catch this kind of activity. Don't worry though, you can still purchase $5,000 today and then go back into the same place tomorrow and purchase another $5,000 worth of precious metals to avoid any kind of reporting. But keep an eye on the spot price. Chances are the spot price will not be the same tomorrow as what it is today. The fourth mistake that new stackers need to avoid, and this is a big one, is securing your stack. This is so important that I devoted an entire chapter in my silver stacking strategy book, Fortress Stacking. A lot of new stackers are simply excited when they start their journey stacking silver, real money, and it's just human nature to want to share that knowledge and the excitement with others, especially your family and your closest friends. But this can be one of the biggest mistakes that you can make. If you are stacking and storing your silver and precious metals at home, then the last thing you want is for everyone and their dog to know what's going on at your house. We all know the saying that sometimes your best friend can be your worst enemy. It's generally the partner, the person that knows someone the most, that is usually the number one suspect in crime investigations. And after everything is all unpacked, generally we see that the partner was the guilty party in the crime. Even if you tell your partner, your friend, or your family that you trust and you believe that they would never do anything to harm you intentionally, they could casually tell someone else about your stack, what you're doing, and potentially expose you and your family to someone that would do harm to you, your family, or destroy your property just to get to your stack. So keep it hush-hush. You know the saying, loose lips sink ships. I wouldn't recommend storing your silver in a shoebox, in the closet, or under the bed. Get a good safe. Get the biggest, heaviest safe that you can afford. Put it in the most difficult location to remove. Bolt that sucker down to the foundation of the property. Make sure it's so difficult that it would be nearly impossible for anybody to get into or remove it with just basic tools. It's definitely a good idea to consider a home alarm system and video cameras around the perimeter of a home to help deter any criminals. We're not talking about just junk here. We're talking about real wealth that we're trying to protect. The type of stuff that governments build impenetrable buildings with the latest technology available on this planet to protect. We're talking stuff like Fort Knox. And let me tell you, once you start stacking, there's really one of only 4 ways that the investment is leaving your stack. Number 1, that's when you die. Number 2, that's if you sell. Number 3, that's if you lose it. And number 4, that's if you're robbed. So my advice to any new stacker is to not go running around telling people that you're a stacker or that you are stacking anything at home. The fifth and absolutely most important mistake that not only new silver stackers need to avoid, but also experienced, well-seasoned stackers And I'm talking to myself as well. I'm guilty of this. We all need to avoid FOMO. Now, nobody has a crystal ball and nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. But this is one thing I am assured of, and that is silver is not going to run out of supply tomorrow. And there's plenty of silver all around us, and it's easily accessible to at least any American. And though I do believe that ultimately the fiat dollar will fade away into the history books just like all the other fiat currencies of the past, it's going to be a slow grinding process to the bottom. I don't think it's going to happen overnight, next year, next month, any of that stuff. Currently, as we sit, the dollar is still the dominant currency of the world. So that's being challenged. That may change, but as we sit right now, that's the reality. So I do believe that it's still important to hold dollars. We have to use them to pay bills, buy groceries and gas, and it doesn't really matter how much I don't like the fiat system or how much you don't like it. And it doesn't matter how much silver we have stacked up. To access that wealth in the current economy, we still have to exchange that silver or that gold back into fiat. And that's not really something that I'm trying to do like ever. I'm holding for the long term, hopefully to pass it down. I may access it, later on if I need it. But even if silver runs up to $2,000 an ounce, I don't really even want to think about a world where silver is $2,000 an ounce. I mean, what does that even look like anyways? I know it's probably coming, but I don't think I'm ready for it yet. And I hope it doesn't happen in my lifetime. So for now, I think you're okay to just build your stack slow and steady without fear of the world ending tomorrow or the silver supply running dry despite what you might hear on social media or you might hear on YouTube. Only spend what you can afford to lose. Understand that the physical metal game is a long-term strategy. Over the course of time, you're going to think yourself, I would stick to smaller weekly purchases and capitalize on the dips. Even if I had $20,000 to invest at one time into any precious metal, I'd hold the cash in reserve and I'd do regular DCA to exhaust the reserve over time to minimize market volatility and risk, and then I'd buy in on the dips when possible. Don't let fear and greed drive your decisions. Stick to a plan and avoid impulsive moves. Always avoid FOMO. If you're unfamiliar with DCA or you've never heard that term before, then click right here for my video breakdown on this strategy and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more silver stacking tips and give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Thank you for sticking around to the end.